Welcome to ChartScout Training. ChartScout is a search and visualization tool on a singular patient. This searches through everything within TouchWorks, and later on, any legacy data that pertains to the patient would be mapped to it as well, such as centricity and practice partners. I will show you how to launch ChartScout from the EHR, navigating the homepage, then also going through some search examples, and review the SIU dashboards. Throughout this whole training, I will also show you how to submit feedback in case you have any questions or concerns. The EHRs are going to be slightly different from department to department on how to launch, but the big gist of it is going to be looking for the button called Emerge. Emerge is the company, ChartScout is the tool that we're using. Since it is on a singular patient, the ChartScout will actually follow you through your workflow. So if you decide to change patients, ChartScout will also close out and open a new one. So if I click on Emerge, it'll take me to ChartScout into my homepage here, and it'll show you in the demographics such as the name, date of birth, and age, and also the tag. You can even hover over as well to see about the ID. Then below it, you do have your search bar that will follow you through. So anywhere that you are in ChartScout, you will find the search bar available to you. Below it, we have my 5 most recent searches. So this actually follows your workflow. So whatever searches you've done, ChartScout is smart enough to learn, and it'll update that for you of what your most recent is. These are also clickable. So if you wanted to go in and click those in instead of typing it in into the search bar, you're more welcome to do so as well. Below it, I have my 5 top searches. So these are just the 5 most popular searches that I have done as a user. Again, this is going to be slightly different on everyone. Also, first timers, if you've never gone into ChartScout, it will be grayed out. So you won't see this, just be aware. All that means is that never search, so that's why it'll be grayed out. Once you start searching, this will all fill in. This is kind of like a customized dashboard for you guys. On the left side, these are things we're going to review towards the end, but these are your dashboards that are created. The CI team did a wonderful job compiling everything that you guys need for these, and later on we'll be releasing more, but we'll also just review these dashboards. On the very top right, we have our feedback button. If you have any questions or concerns, just click on the feedback button and just type away with your email and whatever is it that you're needing for your question. Letting you know we do not need the patient information. We will already know that when you submit, and we'll also know who you are. The reason we just need an email is so that we can reply to you with any answers. So we like to respond within 24 hours. So if you have any questions or concerns, this actually goes straight to our support team, and we can take care of you within them. Then there's other locations where you can submit feedback, and I will show you that throughout the way. Our first search term is patient chart. And patient chart's going to look through everything belonging to this patient, whether it's your current EHR or previous EHR if they're already mapped. This would help you organize everything into one place, or if you needed to print and release records, you can also do that through this search term as well. So I can go in here in patient chart and also do a little bit more filtering. If you just needed to look by years, by month, or things like that, you can also have that option here. So let's say I'm looking for something back in 2015, for example, and I'm looking for a particular month or months. I can go in here and say I want January 1st, and I'm keeping it to the same month of January and going back into 2015. So I'm just looking for that 1 month. And I will select the search button. Once I click search, it'll also let you know here what search term you are searching and then the date filter there. This way it filters that by the date here, and then you can scroll through and look what you're needing from there. Also, a step further, if you wanted to filter in any further than that, you also have the filter by. This filter by will show you what's available within that date range. So whether it be lab results, in this case is available, notes and images, Anything grayed out means it's not available for that time frame. So to show you the difference on this, I will also just remove the date. So you'll notice that I'll click on the X in the blue. I'm going to search again so I can get rid of the date. And now you'll notice it's searching patient chart without a date. Then I can go in here and see everything that is available for this patient throughout this patient's time. Anything in blue available, anything grayed out is not available. Oh, let me change this back. I accidentally changed it, but it doesn't affect the search term. It will the next one. So that one is patient chart, bringing up everything within the patient. Again, this brings up structured, free text, and even scanned images. My next search term is going to be LDL. In LDL, I have a trend that populates. This trend includes also HDL, cholesterol total, and triglycerides all into one place. You can also hover over any of the points and let you know the results and the date. Also, if it's highlighted in red like this one is, that's just showing that it is out of range. That is not depicted by us, it's actually depicted by your EHR, but we just color code it for you to make it easier to make sure you look after it. So you can hover over each one, or we also included the table where it's clickable here and it expands. Then it shows you the result and the date. Once you scroll through, you'll also see that there's more results coming up, which are the structure results. Now going back into the trend, when you can hover over, you also are able to click through it. So if I click that, it'll actually bring in that lipid profile just like the results below. It's just a shortcut in case this patient has a lot of information. These structure results are also printable. So you have your print button here, or if you wanted to print everything within the LDL search term, you also have your mass print button on the right side. Once you click on the print button, it'll give you the option to select each one, or you can select all and print. It also gives you the option to minimize by author. So if I wanted to go here and just look for Janet, then it'll just bring in that one result. So I'll just print that instead of printing everything. So you do have the option to filter down by author name when you're printing. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Just click on the feedback button here. Even if it's concerning this training, let me know. That way I can help you out. Next search term that I'm going to do here is going to be MRI. And MRI, again, is looking for structure, scan images, free text notes. In this case, it brought up structure results and a scan image. I also want to make sure you're aware that MRI is not looking for any title, not just within the titles of the documents, but also within the documents. So within the structure results, you'll see that it's highlighted. And in scan images, you'll see that MRI is highlighted here and is being pulled up for this result, even though it doesn't say MRI within the title. So title, it's going to be on the left side. Then we have the author and the date. This image can be expanded by clicking on the blue button on the top right corner, or within the document here, you actually have a preview. You can just click on that and it'll open it up. But before I do that, I also want to show you that the term is only mentioned once. How do I know that? Just hovering over here, you'll see that it says term mentioned one time in text, and it'll list out all the terms that it's mentioned. So if it's mentioned 20 times, 10 times, 5 times, it'll show you here a preview of the sentence and which page it's under. So you can either click on the term mentioned, or you can also click here. And as you notice, you probably didn't notice it went really quick. It scrolled down all the way down to where the mention's there. So instead of scrolling through in case it was further down, it actually takes you right to it. If there was any more mentions of MRI within this document, it'll let you know by highlighting the rest in yellow. Then it gives you the option to jump to mention. So if it was a mention of 1 out of 20, then it'll give you a list here that you can go through and toggle back and forth. Or if there was more, you also have the option to just click on each one to click the next one. So again, the one that you're currently on would be red. Any other ones would be yellow, and that would switch as soon as you jump to mention or switch through here. In case the scan image is flipped or rotated, you do also have the options to rotate them back. That way you can put them back to the right place and don't have to turn your head sideways. And then you also have the option to zoom in and zoom out here. These images are also printable, so you do have your print button on the top right corner. To X out of the document, just click on the X button here. But before I do that, I also want to show you that this document can also do copy paste. So here I have my MRI examination. If I just wanted to copy paste anything from the document, as long as it's using OCR, so optical character recognition, as long as our technology is 75% confident on the sentence or paragraph, then it can copy paste it in there with no issues. Now, if the OCR has recognized some things that are either kind of scratched off or it's kind of blurry, then that's when it'll just leave out the ones that it's not confident enough and then just leave the rest alone. So in this case, I'm going to go with this sentence. So I'm going to copy that. I can do Command copy, Control copy, or right click. And since I don't have access to your EHR, I will pretend that that's your EHR. I'm just going to paste it into my search bar. And then you'll see how, that is actually being pasted into how you can paste it back into your EHR if needed. Alrighty, so now that we went through patient chart, LDL, and MRI, and then I also wanted to go into a free text note. So for that, I'm actually going to go into office visits. And making you aware, we also can search terms by abbreviations. We'll associate things by abbreviations, any acronyms or any brand names or generic names if it comes to medications. So if there's any associations that we're missing, please let us know. So always feedback button, let us know what we need to associate, because that also makes it easier for you to make sure when you search for something, you're not searching too many things at the same time. So for example, office visit, instead of typing the whole thing, we shortened it to OV. And then for medications, we shortened it to meds. So either one will give you the same results. And then for any medications, you can also use generic or brand names or group names, and it also bring up results that way as well. So with office visit, you'll also see that some of these office visits are not titled office visit, but it's still recognizing that these are office visits. So OV is a really cool term to do that, and it organizes by date as well. The reason I bring these office visits is a free text note, and I also wanted to show you that you can also copy paste. So if I go here, I copy and then paste it over to my search bar, you'll see that it's actually bringing in that text for you. Again, these free text notes, it can be opened by using the expansion button on the top right corner or clicking on the preview here. These are all printable, so you can also go here individually and print, or you can mass print as well, just like we did with the other one. If you look into the office visits filter, you'll notice that it's only available for notes and images and nothing else. So you can also filter further that way. Anytime you do any new searches, filter by will always reset. So if I search for patient chart next, or I search for medications or anything like that, this will actually reset because we're doing a new search. I'm making you aware of this because the one next door, sort by relevance. Relevance is using logic to make sure that it's bringing up the most relevant information according to your search term. So this is the recommendation we like to have. So relevance is the one that we like to have it on, but in case you need to change it by date, you do have that option to do that too. Once you change sort by, it does stay there. So you have to manually change it back, unlike filter by. Alrighty, that concludes our searches. Now we're going on to our dashboards, which is on the left side. So I'm going to first go to the adult chronic conditions. So these are all aggregations of multiple items put into one place that is related to adult chronic conditions. Now, the CI team did an incredible job in their providers to actually compile these and seeing that the patient that qualifies or that actually has these particular diagnoses would actually populate different things at different times. So, for example, for this patient, we do have things that are highlighted or things that are grayed out, and then and I'll show you another screenshot of like what I'm comparing these to. So under labs, we have creatinine here, and then we have the most recent result, and it'll tell you the date that it's pulling from. You also have this blue button here with the graph. You can actually bring it up and it'll pull up that trend just like when we did with LDL. You can hover this over to actually get the result, or you can also click the result to populate the same way as we did with LDL. Now, the reason it's red, it actually will tell you that it's red, or it will actually tell you the more information by clicking the eye of why it's red. If I click on the eye, this will populate right under the title. So in this case, the results are older than a year. Yep, it's 2018. We need a new one. So this one's just making you aware that we need more recent results for this patient. So we just need to get on it. If you have any questions or concerns, we do have a chat bubble within it. When you click on it, it takes you back to the feedback button. The difference on this one is that it has satellite buttons within it. So it's something much quicker in case you want to tell us, hey, this is correct, or it's not functioning, or it's missing data, or it's an irrelevant result. Whatever the case may be, you do have those satellite buttons to click, or you can type away just like the previous feedback. Again, email is already integrated on there once you submit once. We do not need to know the patient information since we already can see the logs that you're on that patient. We do not need to know who you are since we already see that as well. We just need to know your email to reply back to you. To do any expansion, so in case you wanted to see the flow sheet, just click on the expansion button there and you'll see the flow sheet will populate here, plus the trend that you can see it a little bit much bigger. So here you can see the flow while the widget is just kind of a little condensed here. So making sure that it's not taking too much space from your dashboards. Now, this one has creatinine, lipids, potassium, TSH, and urine protein. So notice that these guys are what's populating for this patient. Now I'm going to show you a different patient, actually a different patient, correct, different patient, but also the view of how it's working in the back end. So labs, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this patient. And then for this other one, you'll notice that labs here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have an extra one. Now, this other one is not popular on the other patient just because they do not have that diagnosis within their EHR. So this all here that is grayed out, this also is actually things that will not populate for the patient if they don't qualify. So these are all designed by age, by gender, things how they're populating within the dashboard. I do want to make sure that you're aware of how the tags look. So this is an example on a different client, or actually our demo patient is actually here. The tags, this one has Athena and Allscripts. So if you had the practice partners and centricity, then you will see it the same way like this. And to make you aware, the tags will also follow the results. So as soon as they have any legacy data as well for this patient, then you'll see which one's coming from where. But since this patient that I have doesn't have any legacy data, it's not showing any Allscripts or any differentiates. But as soon as they do, you will see those too. So the labs are grouped together, and then any highlights, just click on the eye, any trends, just open up, and then you can see that. So here is just a clip of it. And again, it's not populating everything. It just depends on per diagnosis. Then we also have the preventative care. And you'll see that this was a little bit shortened here. But again, this is the same method as the adult chronic conditions, where we have all these different labs and education, mental health screenings, and that all will be compiled depending on the patient. So this one just depending on the qualifications of age, gender, and diagnosis as well. If you have any questions or concerns, please let us know in the feedback button. Anytime that you guys have any questions, let us know. We're more than happy to help.